My name is Gabriel, and I'm a Brazilian man. I live in Brazil. I'm also a teacher. I teach geography in high schools, and I also work with kids. And right now, I am a student, a bachelor student in translation and interpreting English, Portuguese. That's how I know Jane. She's my professor.
My name is Maheshwar. I am an eighth grader from GPHS Penmaka. I would like to ask a question.
Please go
My
ahead.
question is my question is what environmental challenges does Brazil face today and how are schools encouraging students to take action to protect nature?
All right, that's a very good question about environmental challenges. I think not just Brazil, but the whole world is facing some problems. For example, about the climate change, right? Brazil is not any different. So this is the first one I would say the climate change and how climate is changing and evolving maybe according to our challenges. The second of all, I would say would be the deforestation. So that it's also a problem that Brazilians they are well aware of. Deforestation together with wildfire on the rainforest, for example, but not just in the rainforest. So those things we are taking care of. It's our challenge now. Something that schools are taking action is environmental education. So by law, schools must teach about nature, environmental, how to preserve it, how to protect it. I think that's very important. This new generation of kids and teenagers are growing, knowing the challenges they're gonna face as an adult. So I'm very proud of education in Brazil in this aspect. Of course, we have a long way, but we are doing our best right now.
What similarities or differences do you notice between Brazil geography and the geography of countries like India?
Wow, that's a very, very hard question to answer, but very interesting one. I think Brazil and India, they have a lot in common and a lot of differences, right? The first thing that I would say it's a similarity would be maybe the position of country according to the economy in the world. So Brazil and India is part of BRICS or BRICS, right? Together with Russia and South Africa. So this is a very good similarity. Other similarity would be culture difference. Yeah, Brazilians, we are very different one to another. So in the same country, we can speak Portuguese differently. You have no idea how different our accents here in Brazil. Although in India, I think this difference it's even higher, right? Whereas you guys speak many languages, and that's pretty incredible. Was the first thing I noticed when I visited India for the first time. Let me check another similarity. Talking about nature, I think both Brazil and India, we have different biomes. So in the same country, we can find different weather, different climate, different type of forest, right? In India, it's very diverse. So there are beach place, there are mountains like the Himalayas, right? In Brazil, we can see that thing as well. Differences like in the landform of landscape. So yeah, this is something very similar. The differences, I think I would start pointing out the population. In Brazil, there are more than 200 million people living here. And in India, it's more than a billion people. So it's India is more populated than Brazil. I would say that it's a very big difference. Let me think another one. Oh, yes, I can think all about that right now. Yeah, these differences between Brazil and India.
Evening, sir. This is Akbar. I am a ninth grader from VZPHS Penmaka. With your permission, may I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
How do geography lessons in Brazil help understand the such as the Amazon rainforest and
All right, that's very interesting, right? Um, how geography lessons help students in Brazil. Well, geography lessons will help the students not only in Brazil but throughout the world. It will help the student how to understand nature. So for geographers and geography science, nature, it's all connected. So the river is not alone in the vacuum of space, right? The river is playing a role together with the soil, with the economy, with the weather. So geography will help the student to understand that we have this what we call in geography an holistic view of nature. So nature is connected. Rock is connected to the landform, it's connected to the climate, and that if we change one aspect of nature, we can have some consequences, a bigger consequence, right? So this is the first thing that geography can help. Another thing that for me it's quite curious is that geography can help the student how to understand better the environment, the space where you are. It may even make you connect a little bit more to where you live and see the landscape in a more detailed way, right? So when you travel and you know geography, you're not just traveling, but you are seeing different aspects of nature and human society together playing a role, connected. So this is something that geography will help. And I will give you an example because you mentioned the Amazon rainforest and Pantanal wetlands, right? So those are places in Brazil, regions in Brazil, very important. And I live in Paraná, it's a state in the south of Brazil, and the Amazon rainforest is in the north of Brazil, so it's pretty far from where I live. However, the Amazon rainforest each year contributes to the rain that comes to the south. So this is a connection that people may not be aware of, but exists, and this is quite interesting. Or another example is Pantanal wetlands. It's a very low altitude, and one of the theories that why Pantanal exists is the Andes. It's a mountain range like the Himalayas, right? So it's another connection that people not may be aware of, but exist, right? So this is very interesting. I think I would say geography is connection.
Okay, thank you so much. And here is another question from Akbar. Akbar, would you like to ask?
Yes, sir. Sir, the question is, how is geography taught in Brazilian schools? Do you learn more through projects or digital tools?
All right. Well, the geography in Brazil from schools evolved according to the years, right? So in the past, geography was just a topic where you used to memorize. So you will memorize the population of a country, the name of the rivers. Nowadays, geography changed completely in Brazil. Nowadays, we don't memorize anymore, but we understand how things are connected, like I said, and how things work. So you're not gonna just memorize the name of the rivers, but you're gonna understand how important are rivers to a certain kind of society, talking about religion, economy, or even food habits, you know. And in Brazil, yes, you mentioned about field work, projects, and digital tools. In Brazil, we use all of that. It will depend on the school, where you are, what region you are, if it is a public or a private school. In Brazil, there is a big difference between those two. But yes, I think field work is something quite important for geography. You should go out and see the reality, see while you were studying in theory, you're gonna see it in real life. That's very important for students, and that was the first reason why I studied geography at the first place in college, right, university. But yes, in Brazil we use fieldworks, projects, and digital tools like Google Earth or other kind of mapping software. This is very important for a geography teacher in Brazil.
Recently, I studied a book where I came to know the fact that the Amazon forest is so prosperous because of the Sahara Desert. So Sahara Desert, in fact, they send some nitrogen or some related things through the air to the Amazon forest, and because of these elements, the Amazon River uh, prospers each year. It gets that I mean nutrients that are required for these forests. Uh, so when I read this book, I think I found maybe I was reading a wrong thing. But after going through the things, I think I had to confirm that yes, it's a fact. And as a geography teacher, could you please explain to me in detail about this? Because Amazon forest is a part of South America, and whereas Sahara is a part of Africa, and which is quite far away from these place continents. And of course, Antarctic Ocean is also there between these two regions. So could you please explain to me in detail?
Oh, for sure. It would be a pleasure. It's improbable to think that they are connected, right? In fact, the Sahara Desert every year sends tons of sediment through the air. So, how does it work? When we think about the atmosphere on Earth, we need to remember that it's all connected. And the atmosphere has its own movement because of all the rotation of the Earth, right? And other aspects as well. So the way the atmosphere is divided is in between cells. So there are cells of circulation, right? Who makes the air travels, let's say that, right? Like go one place to another. And somehow, Africa, north of Africa, is connected to North of America. I'm not talking about North America now, but South America, north of the South America. And that's how the so many sediments comes from Sahara Desert. It comes through the air because of the cells. We could say a convection cell, like something more specific, a terminology. But yeah, that's totally possible. Yes, it's very, very funny to think about that. In fact, the soil on Amazon forest, it's very poor when we talk about nutrients. So the only reason we have vegetation in this area is because of the weather. It's a very humid area, and that's why we have so many trees and species and you know. But if we take out and one example, if we take out all the forest, I think the soil is not gonna be very good, like to plant. Of course, nowadays we have technology enough to correct the soil. But yes, it's all not by chance, but there's all a connection, Sahara Desert and Amazon forest, right? This is very beautiful to think about, a desert and a rainforest connected, right?
Yeah. So one more question is actually Amazon forest is something that is quite exciting for the people or children living in India and elsewhere in the world. Because what we have heard that this particular forest only to some extent so far has been explored, and even a larger part is not even explored fully because of the thick forest foliage or maybe some other reasons. And another thing is the anaconda is one of the biggest snakes that is widely found in Amazon river forest. So could you please tell us about the the importance of the Amazon forest in the economy of Brazil. And at the same time, the animals are the rare species are found exclusively in rainforest of Amazon.
Oh, that's such an interesting question. Yes, that's true. The Amazon forest is huge. It's not just from Brazil, but also a little bit from Venezuela, Peru, Bolivia, other countries around Brazil. There are many places that were not explored, fully explored, right? But we can have some ideas of what might have over there. But yes, there are many gaps to fill in science when it talks about Amazon forest. Uh, we can start talking about the fauna and flora of the place, right? The animal life, plant life, and you mentioned anaconda, right? It's a very very interesting species of snake in Brazil. Anaconda, it could be used, but we talk a little bit more about sucuri. It's how we call it here in Brazil. It's a huge snake, big proportions. It can eat a big mammals, right, when it's hungry. Although it might sound very dangerous when the snake is digesting its victim, let's say that, uh, it doesn't cause any harm, mainly to human beings. So don't be afraid, okay? No sucuri or anaconda is gonna show up and devour us when we are there. But there are other animals over there, like onça pintada, which it is a type of a jaguar that is especially from South America, not only from the Amazon rainforest, but it's also in other places in Brazil, like the Cerrado or Atlantic Forest, which it is the place where I live. So I live far from the Amazon forest. But there are many, many researchers nowadays searching different type of insects, of mammals, of plants in Brazil now, and they are discovering a lot of things. Another thing that for us it's a new discovery last year and this year is that they are discovering a how can I say that? It would be like a footprint of the oldest human generations that lived in the Amazon forest. So, because of technology we have nowadays, now we are mapping or remapping again the soil and the relief of the Amazon forest, and we are discovering some old cities or what we used to call cities or villages that are dead right now, like full of trees around. And but there are a diverse type of indigenous tribes. I don't know this relation in India, but here in Brazil, when Portuguese people came to Brazil, there were millions of people living here already, discovering the forest, already using the plants as a medicine. There are many, many things that we are gonna discover about Amazon rainforest that we didn't yet. Another thing is that some parts of Amazon forest is rich in gold and other things. So, but exploring it is still illegal, right? So it's not possible to do that because the rainforest, it's very important for the economy because it influences the weather in Brazil. It influences other aspects as well, like cultural aspects. So it's more profitable to the country to keep the forest than to take it down, right? But I think it's there are so many things we can talk about it. We can talk about indigenous culture and how they see the nature as God and goddess and holy, sacred. I think this is a very good point of view to take when we are talking about nature, right? We are part of nature. We are not separated of it. I think Indians, they think like that. I'm not sure. Maybe you can confirm, right? But the river is our friend, the animals, they are our friends, and this is very important.
Yeah, Brazil, what are the languages that are widely spoken? Could you please introduce a few words of Portuguese to my students?
Oh, for sure. I am obsessed about languages. In Brazil, we mostly speak Portuguese. So, Portuguese is taught in schools, we speak at home. It doesn't matter if you live in the Northeast or the South or Midwest of Brazil, you're gonna speak Portuguese fluently, right? But there are some other languages that are that are common in certain communities of our countries. We can talk about other European languages. So the south of Brazil received a massive immigrant flux of immigrant from Europe, like Italy, German, and Spain. Also from some countries in Asia, like Japan and China. So in São Paulo, there is a neighborhood called Liberdade. A translation would be freedom. And there is one of the biggest population of Japanese and Chinese people out of Japan and China. So if you go there, you're gonna probably listen Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, or Japanese all around. In the south of Brazil, it's very common to have communities who still speaks who still speaks German, or some dialect from German, also from Italy, Polish, Ukrainian. Those are small communities. It doesn't apply to other regions, but they also can speak Portuguese pretty well. And of course, we have some indigenous people speaking different languages. So it is sad that there are more than 200 languages, indigenous languages spoken in Brazil. But of course, it's in small, really small community. But I can tell you one of the most famous would be Tupi-Guarani. It's an indigenous language, Tupi-Guarani. I don't speak it, unfortunately, not yet. And there is a very popular language in Brazil, it is called Libras. That's a Brazilian sign language. So when you are deaf and you're not able to speak with your voice, so you can sign with your hands. So the sign of Libras of the language is this. So this is Libras in sign language. And in the border of Brazil, when we are talking about Brazil and Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay, people also speak Spanish or a little bit of Spanish. It's a mixed language as well, but they can speak Portuguese fluently like any other place. Yes, I can teach some Portuguese. How should I start? Maybe I can say
Yeah,
good
you
morning.
can you can introduce just good morning, good afternoon, how are you, something like that.
Okay.
A few words only.
Oh, okay, very nice. So, good morning would be bom dia.
Bom dia,
Yes, bom dia. Very good.
bom dia,
Yes, for sure. Boa tarde, it's how we say good afternoon. So let me repeat. Boa tarde.
boa tarde,
Boa tarde.
boa tarde.
Excellent. There, you can pronounce differently as well. So there are some places in Brazil would say boa tarde or boa tarde, but boa tarde it's my accent. It's how I say it. Boa
Boa
tarde.
tarde,
Boa tarde.
boa tarde.
Very nice. And how are you? Como você está?
Como você está? Como
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 você
você
está?
está?
Wow, that's good. Como você está? How are
como
you?
yeah, como você está?
Yeah. It's a very neutral way to say
Yeah.
how are you? Like not formal, not informal. Como você
Mm.
está? Yes. So I also have a question about the languages that you speak. So in the state where you live, what are the
Telugu,
languages?
Telugu. Here
Telugu.
in this part of India, we speak Telugu. Telugu is our mother tongue.
Telugu.
Telugu, yeah. So in
Okay.
Telugu, we wish good morning, Subodayam.
Subodham.
Perfect. And
Subodham.
yeah, good afternoon. Suma Madhyahanam. Subha Madhyahanam.
Uh, please come again.
Subha Madhyahanam.
Subhamadhyamam.
Perfect.
Okay, nice. And how do I say my name is Gabriel?
Yeah. నేను నా పేరు గాబ్రియల్. నా పేరు
Naperu.
గాబ్రియల్. నా పేరు
Naperu Gabriel. Nice, nice. I know only how to say
yeah.
in Hindi, Mera naam Gabriel hai, but I'm not sure if you guys speak
Yeah.
Hindi as well. Do you?
Yes. One more praise I would like to introduce. How are you? మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
Mirelau Nau.
Absolutely.
Nice. Now I can go back to India.
Yeah, you can come. You can come. So yeah, I have a curious question. Actually, nose pins that you have one nose pin here and another one here. And in India also we have the tradition to wear the nose pins, especially for women they wear the nose pins, and even men also they have the culture to wear the pins, these nose pins. And could you please explain to me about this nose pins? Is it part of the culture or is it part of religious aspects? Or it's a trend.
Good question. I think it's more about maybe beauty trend than a culture aspect. So it's pretty common for youngest generation in Brazil to get pierced. So people, it's common to have on their ears, on their lips, on their nose, or eyebrows. So this is more related to being part of a specific lifestyle, you know. So usually it's related to youngest generations and not just specifically a culture that is passed by and by. But yes, this is something that called my attention when I visited India. I thought was very beautiful, the different clothing and different lifestyle people may have and how that is connected to religion and culture. Very, very admirable.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so, in which year you happened to visit India?
It was in 2016. It was in July, 2016 July. It was
Which,
raining a lot.
yeah.
Yes.
So, which part of India you visited?
I visited only the state of Maharashtra.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I visited a beach city called Alibag and
Mm.
Panvel.
Mm.
But unfortunately, I couldn't visit other places in India, but it's part of my plans. I will visit
Okay,
the south, north,
yeah,
and
you are most welcome to visit my school and my region, Andhra Pradesh. Please visit.
thank you so much.
Yeah. So before we wind up this session, may I request you to take us outside your room to show us what is weather like in Brazil? I heard that Brazilian weather is somewhat similar to Indian weather.
Oh, yes, it may be. It may be. First of all, I need to locate myself in Brazil. So in south of Brazil, we are in between the tropics. So there are a very distinguished weather. This part of the year, it's starting to become a hotter weather. And in the middle of the year, like June, July, it's very cold where I live. So the temperatures may vary according to the day, but it could reach 0 degrees or 10 degrees pretty easily. And during summer, it could reach 40 degrees as well pretty easily. Yes, I will. I can show you. Do you mean like literally to show? I can show
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
landscape.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Literally.
nice.
Please take us outside
Okay,
tour.
nice. I will show. I live in an apartment, so I think I will not be able to go
No
outside, but I will
problem, no
show.
problem. You can take us just close to the window or outside the window.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So this is my view. This is the city. There are a lot of trees in the city. and buildings. Yes, this is a little bit of the view. I can show you, I can try to show you a little bit more on the other side,
Thank
if you excuse me. Let me see if you can see it, but that is not, it's the city and it's also a urban forest. So the city where I live is called Cianorte, and we have the second largest urban forest in Brazil. The first is in Rio de Janeiro, so Tijuca, and the second is Cinturão Verde in Cianorte, Paraná. And I can also have a cat here. She's meditating.
Yes, Gabriel, thank you so much for giving us a even virtual tour of your home and outside your home. Before we wind up the session, may I request you to give a message to my students?
Okay, so I would like to appreciate this moment. I really enjoyed talking to you, explaining a little bit about geography, which I love. And congratulations to all the students pursuing knowledge in English and any other language or topic. I'm very proud of everybody. I think your generation, there is many possibilities to change the world, and I hope we can do that together, right? And we can, I don't know, make a better world for all of us.